Good afternoon, students. In today's topic, we will discuss about the Ampere-Circle law and its applications. But before discussing this, we must recall the Biot-Savart law. And what was the Biot-Savart law? That if we want to find the magnetic field due to any current carrying conductor at any point P, then the magnetic field is directly proportional to I dl sin theta and inversely proportional to r square. That means dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta by r square. It is vector quantity, so n cap. And then we used this Biot-Savart law to find the magnetic field at any point P due to infinite long conductor and the circular current carrying loop and solenoid. Though this current carrying conductor, infinite long conductor, is not in syllabus, and that solenoid is also not in syllabus, but this Biot-Savart law is used to find the magnetic field due to a current carrying conductor. Might be infinite long, might be circular loop, might be solenoid, can be of any shape. While finding the magnetic field due to these configurations, we observe that the calculation work becomes very lengthy. That means we have to consider a length element dl making angle theta, then we have to assume this angle phi, then first dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl sin theta by r square, then we convert this theta in term of phi and then we integrate with the limit phi 1 and phi 2. This calculation work becomes very lengthy and complicated. But Ampere find out this difficult problem in easy way. Using Ampere-Circle law to find the magnetic field due to a infinite long current carrying conductor becomes very easy. And the same in case of solenoid, we have to use again first length element dl, then at any point P due to this length element, or say inside at any point P due to this length element, then make angle theta, then theta from theta 1 to theta 2. Again same way a long calculation is there, and Ampere-Circle law makes that lengthy calculation also very easy and very short. That's why Ampere-Circle law plays an important role in the magnetism. It plays the same role as Gauss law played in case of electrostatic. The Ampere law is same for Biot-Savart law as the Gauss law was for the Coulomb's law in electrostatic. What is Ampere law? Ampere-Circle law first we have to define it. What is Ampere-Circle law? It states that the line integral of a magnetic field of a magnetic field over a closed loop is equal to the mu naught times the current flowing through the loop, flowing inside the loop. The current must pass from inside the loop. We have to consider only those currents which are crossing the closed circuit, closed path. That means if this is any closed path, and I is the current flowing through it, then say dl B dot dl, the line integral of the magnetic field over this whole path, closed path, is equal to the mu naught times the current flowing through the loop. अगर मेरे पास I1 और I2, if I have a I1 and I2, two currents flowing through these two conductors, and I have to find out the magnetic field at point P due to these both conductors, and I have considered this loop, then B dot dl will be equal to mu naught I1 only. I2 will not play any role in the calculation work, but that doesn't mean that the magnetic field is solely because of the I1. This magnetic field is because of both I1 and I2, but the formula includes only the currents which flows through the loop. Next, usefulness. This Ampere's law is useful in cases. Number one, if B is tangential to the closed path, like in this case, if I hold the conductor in my right hand, thumb represents the direction of the current, then curl of finger will represent the direction of magnetic field, and magnetic field at any point will be tangential to the closed path. So Ampere's law is useful, mostly useful in cases number one, if B is tangential to the loop or the closed path and has non-zero value. And has the non-zero value. Second, if B is perpendicular to the loop, if the B is perpendicular or normal to the loop, option is there, or usefulness, either B is tangential and has non-zero value, or B is normal to loop, or V vanishes. V vanishes, V becomes 0. This can be used at anywhere, at any point or in any case, but the Ampere's law is mostly useful in these three cases. Either B is tangential to the loop and has non-zero value and is constant also. Second, B is normal to the loop, either this one or this one. B is normal to the loop, or B vanishes. These are the cases where the Ampere's law is most useful. We can prove this also. If you want to prove it, let's start. Line integral of B dot dl, that is B dl cos of 0 degree, that is B dl cos 0 becomes 1. Now the value of the B is for the straight current conductor, B is equal to mu naught I upon, if the resistance is R, then 2 pi R dl. Then mu naught is constant, I is constant, 2 is constant, pi is constant, R is constant. What we are left with? dl, and that is mu naught upon 2 pi R I dl. The total integration of the dl is total path, that is 2 pi r. Here 2 pi r and 2 pi r cancel out, it's mu naught I. Like this we can prove it also. So what is Ampere-Settle law? The line integral of the magnetic field over the closed loop is equal to the mu naught times of the current crossing the or passing through the loop. So this was the Ampere-Settle law. It can be used to find the magnetic field due to an infinite long conductor, or the magnetic field inside a solenoid, or the magnetic field due to a toroid. So let's start the first. Here one more thing to note, that this loop is also known as empirical loop, as there was in Gaussian surface. In Gauss law, we used to draw an imaginary surface called Gauss surface passing through the point of observation. Here we draw a loop crossing the point of observation and enclosing the current element, and this loop is called empirical loop. The first application, magnetic field due to an infinite long conductor. So let us consider an infinite long conductor. Infinite long means no upper and no lower, and having current I flowing through it. And let's say P be any point where the magnetic field is to be find out due to this infinite long current carrying conductor. Draw the Gaussian loop, draw the empirical loop enclosing the current element and passing through point P. To find out the B dot dl, the line integral of the magnetic field. To find the B dot dl, line integral of the magnetic field, consider a length element dl in the direction of the magnetic field. Which is the direction of magnetic field? If I hold the conductor like this, then magnetic field will be like this, outward and inward. From here it is inward, and from here it is outward. So outward, let me draw like this. So the length element also can be considered in this direction. So what becomes? B dot dl is equal to B dl cos of 0 degree. That means B dl cos 0 1. B, that is having constant value. We said that the magnetic field, it is useful in three main cases. First one, magnetic field should be tangential to the empirical loop, has non-zero and constant value. So it is the case, first case, having non-zero and constant value. So if constant value, B can be taken out of the integration, then it is left dl, and integration of dl is, if this distance is r, then it is 2 pi r. So B dot dl integration is equal to B into 2 pi r. According to Ampere-Settle law, V dot dl should be equal to mu naught times of the I, the current flowing through the loop. Comparing this 1 and 2, representing the same thing. Same loop is there, same distance is there. They both are representing same thing by different formulas. Comparing these two, B into 2 pi r is equal to mu naught times of the I, and B is equal to mu naught times of I upon 2 pi r. Dear friends, if you will find out this magnetic field with the help of Biot-Savart law, the calculation is very lengthy and complicated, and here you can see that the calculation becomes very easy. Just we have to compare these two parts, the line diagram of the magnetic field, one by that formula and one by empirical circle law, and hence we can find the magnetic field mu naught I upon 2 pi r. Few points we can note it from here, that the field at every point of the circle of radius r is same. The magnetic field at every point is same because it depends upon r, and on the circle r is constant. It depends upon r. Mu is constant, I is constant, 2 pi is constant. It varies with r. V is inversely proportional to r. So because for a circle r is constant, therefore B is same for all the points on the circle. Second, the direction of the field is tangential to the loop. Direction of magnetic field is tangential. कहीं भी check करें, the direction of magnetic field will be tangential to the loop, and the direction of the magnetic field will be given by right hand thumb rule. Hold the conductor in your right hand, so the thumb represents the direction of the current, then the curl of finger will represents the direction of the magnetic field. Even though wire is infinite, wire has an infinite length, the magnetic field has a finite value. The magnetic field will be infinite only when r is 0. If the point is very very close, B will grow up tremendously. B will become very large if r becomes very small. At r is equal to 0, B becomes infinite. Hence we can say that for infinite long conductor also, the magnetic field has a finite value. These are the certain points of conclusion which we can draw from here, from this relation formula. B is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r, that for same r the B is same. That means for circle every point B has same. Second, the direction of magnetic field tangential at every point on the circle, and the direction is given by right hand thumb rule. And third thing, that though the conductor is infinite, still the magnetic field is finite, and because it depends upon r, so magnetic field will shoot up if the r becomes very small, and magnetic field will decrease if r becomes very large. So these are the some conclusions which we can draw from this relation. Let's try to find out or try to solve a numerical from NCERT book. What is? We have a conductor having current flowing through it, through the cross section. करंट फ्लो कर रहा है पूरे क्रॉस सेक्शन में, बॉडी के अंदर से. This figure shows a long straight wire of a circular cross section of radius a, carrying steady current I. The current is uniformly distributed across the cross section. पूरे cross section में uniformly distributed. Calculate the magnetic field in the region where R is greater than A and R is smaller than A. So the first case is when R is greater than A, that means this is a draw an empirical loop. Draw an empirical loop. Therefore, according to Ampere's circle law, B dot dl is equal to mu naught time of the I. The I current flowing through it. So B, hold the conductor. So magnetic field and dl both are in same direction. So b dl cos 0 1, but we have a b dl, b is constant over the whole circle, so b comes out and dl is equal to mu naught I, and b 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I, b is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. This is the magnetic field when r is greater than a. That means b is inversely proportional to r. The second case, if point P lies inside here, r is less than a. Dear friends, now see, the current is flowing uniformly across the cross section. That means current is here, 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 everywhere the current is flowing. But empirical formula, empirical law says that we have to include only those current which are passing through the loop, and those current which are passing out of the loop, we have to not include that currents in the formula. So value of the current changes here. Sometimes the question says that the current is surface current. If the current is surface current, then straightway the current inside the loop is 0. Therefore, B dot dl is equal to mu naught into 0. B dot dl is equal to 0. B is equal to 0. But here the current is flowing uniformly across the cross-sectional area. That means loop still have current. How much current? That we can find with the help of the current density. So J is the current density. Then J is equal to I upon A. A means 2 pi A square. Area of the conductor. Cross-section area of the conductor. Pi A square. Now current I inside is equal to J into area of the loop. Density into area of the loop. J means I upon pi A square into area of loop pi R square. That is I R square upon A square. That is the current crossing the loop. Now apply the Ampere's second law. What is B dot dl is equal to mu naught I inside, that is mu naught I R square by A square. So this becomes B dl. B 2 pi r is equal to mu naught I R square by A square. That is B is equal to mu naught I R square upon A square 2 pi r. 1 r cancel out. B is equal to mu naught upon I upon 2 pi A square r. That means B is directly proportional to r. So inside the conductor, B is directly proportional to R. Outside the conductor, B is inversely proportional to R. If I have to plot the graph for B versus R, then R this side, magnetic field this side, till R equal to A. Till R equal to A, B is directly proportional to R. And after R greater than A, the B decreases exponentially. So we have observed that inside the conductor, B is directly proportional to R. That's as R increases, B increases, and outside the conductor, as the R increases, B decreases. This was the magnetic field due to an infinite long conductor. One application and the example or numerical relating to that problem. The second application is magnetic field inside a solenoid. So dear friend, first of all, what is solenoid? A long insulated copper wire bounded helically closed loops is called solenoid. A long copper wire bounded in closed loops to form a helical is known as the solenoid. Helical means spring shape. A long wire bounded in the form of a helix is called solenoid. And when current flows through this solenoid, a magnetic field develops inside it and around it. Each loop produces a magnetic field, and the net vector sum of all magnetic fields forms a one closed loop. And this side act as south, this side act as a north. And hence solenoid also act as a bar magnet. So what is solenoid? A long insulated copper wire bounded closely in the form of helix is called solenoid. Normally it can be represented by this indicates the bindings perpendicular to the board in the inward direction and this in the outward direction. Inward and outward. So the direction of the north pole and south pole of the solenoid can be given by right hand rule also. If your curve of the finger represents the direction of the current from here to inward to outward, here to inward, from here outward, then the thumb gives the direction of the north polarity and other side is the south polarity. Long solenoid means if the length is greater than radius. If the length is much greater than the radius, that type of solenoid is known as long solenoid. And in long solenoid, it appears that the magnetic field inside the solenoid is uniform. That means parallel magnetic field lines are there. And outside the magnetic field is very weak and is termed to be zero. So when we are saying that magnetic field due to a infinite magnetic field inside a solenoid, long solenoid, that means we will find the magnetic field inside only and outside we will assume that magnetic field is zero. To find the magnetic field due to a solenoid, let us assume a solenoid having n turns. To find the magnetic field at any point P, let us assume a loop, closed loop A, B, C, D passing through the point P. So, what is the line integral of the magnetic field B dot dl? Let us check it out. There are four parts AB, BC, CD and DA. So this can be split into AB, B dot dl plus BC, B dot dl plus CD, B dot dl plus DA, B dot dl. Now check the angles. First for AB, this is AB. Magnetic field is also in the same direction. This side is north, this side is south. From outside north to south, inside south to north. That means B dl cos 0. A to B, B dl cos 0 degree. So cos 0 is 1, so we will write b dot bdl plus bdl for BC magnetic field in this direction and length element in this way perpendicular to magnetic field. We can say that b dl cos 90 0, this part vanishes, plus CD outside the solenoid, and we have said that for long solenoid the magnetic field outside the solenoid is approximately 0. We assume it is 0, so if it is 0 into dl 0 plus A to D again 90 degree perpendicular to magnetic field 0. What we are left with? B constant comes out, A to B dl. If this length is L, then B into L. This is the B dot dl line integral, the line integral of the magnetic field. Now according to Ampere's second law, set number 1, according to Ampere's second law, B dot dl must be equal to mu naught times I. If I is a current from one loop and there are n loop in this element, then mu naught ni. If I is a current from one loop, there are n loops in the empirical loop, or in the n coils in the empirical loop, so the total current becomes ni. So B dot dl is equal to mu naught ni. Comparing 1 and 2, what we observe that B into L is equal to mu naught ni, B is equal to mu naught ni upon L, n upon L number density, B is equal to mu naught ni. This is the simple relation for magnetic field inside a solenoid. B is equal to mu naught ni. This is the same procedure we can extend to toroid. So what is toroid first of all? Dear friends, if we twist the solenoid, we have a long solenoid and we twist it in the form of a ring. That ring shaped solenoid is called toroid. So toroid is nothing but the ring shaped solenoid. And hence we see that there are three main reasons now. Number one, the free space inside the toroid. Number two, inside the toroid, magnetic field inside. And number third, this outer space, inner free space, outer free space, and the space inside the toroid. There are three reasons. Reason 1, reason 2, and reason 3. Free space inside, free space outside, and inside the toroid. To find the magnetic field due to toroid, we have to assume the three cases. For case 1 inside, case 2 inside free space, inside the toroid, and outside free space. So case 1, if the point P lies here inside the free space, say it has a radius r and it has a. If a is less than r, then line triangle B dot dl is equal to mu naught into 0. So B is equal to 0 because no current flows through the loop. So magnetic field here is 0. क्योंकि सारा करंट तो एम्पिरिकल लूप से बाहर है. Whole current is outside of the empirical loop. The current through the empirical loop is 0. Case 2, if A is equal to R, that means our loop is here. Then B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. Now the current is flowing through it, that is I current flowing through it. I means if there are n number of turns, then n into I, where I is the current from one turn and there are total n turns, so total current becomes Ni. Again, B dl, magnetic field hold the conductor is in the direction, length is also in this direction, dl length element and b are in the same direction, tangential to the empirical loop. So b dl cos 0 becomes 1, it becomes b dl is equal to mu naught ni, or b constant through the whole loop. So b is dl is equal to mu naught ni. Then b dl is 2 pi r is equal to mu naught ni. B is equal to mu naught ni by 2 pi r. This n upon 2 pi r, and the total number of turns in 2 pi r length. So what is n upon 2 pi r? Number of turns upon total length. That means number density of the loops or turns. So B is equal to mu naught small ni, where small n is the number density of the turns, number of turns per unit length. So this is the magnetic field inside the toroid. And the case 3, in the outer free space, if A is greater than R, then again B dot dl is equal to mu naught I. Now see, turn is like this. So from one end current is entering in the inward direction in the bore, and the other as it is coming out. The I current is entering, I current is coming out, total current 0. I current entering, I current coming out, total current 0. I current entering, I current coming out, total current 0. So in this loop, the total entering current is equal to the total leaving current. The sum of total current is 0. Again, B dot dl, line integral is equal to mu naught into 0. That is B dot dl is equal to 0, means B is equal to 0. Therefore, in this region also the magnetic field is 0. So this is the way we can find out the magnetic field due to a toroid also. This was all about the Ampere's second law and its application. Thanks.